Three Men, One Fall is here today on YouTube. This has been a long time coming.
Yeah, everyone that's been following us has been waiting for this to happen. I know I have.
Yes, and thank you very much for joining us today. So this is our first ever YouTube video. First of all, we should probably introduce ourselves.
Yeah, I'm Ash.
And I'm Russ. Today we'll just go through, I suppose, the tier list that we've got. So at the very bottom.
The very bottom is delete them.
Delete, delete, delete.
We have got
what? You had to look at the screen. In the middle, we do have the glass ceiling. It can be quite difficult to break that sometimes.
And we got B+ player.
B+ player, nice little spot that.
Yeah.
And of course, at the very top, we have best in the world because, of course,
Shame man.
the best in the. We hope you enjoy this video, and remember, if you do like, subscribe, do all the other bits. But we'll say it again at the end if you can stick around that long.
Yeah.
But shall we get to it?
Let's get started right now.
Let's bloody do it!
Come on!
So the tier list, Ash.
Yes.
Let's get to it.
Come on.
What's number one?
What, the first game we're going to be talking about?
Yeah, Natasha, bring up number one for us. Natasha is off camera. We thought we'd get the people with the best faces for radio on camera for this one. So yeah. I thought that was the best thing to do. Right, 2K20.
Right, it's the best in the world. Moving on.
It. Put it in the top tier. It goes with the best in the world. This was a brilliant game.
Dare I say, the greatest of all time.
Honestly, that does make me feel a bit sick. I think we should.
Or B+.
Well, look, let's look at the facts for 2K20. So you bought this when it first came out.
Yes, I did. I pre-ordered it.
You pre-ordered it? What, the Deluxe edition or?
No, just the regular one, I believe.
Oh, okay, right. So this was a bad game.
Oh yeah.
And for many reasons.
Well, let me see. The glitching.
Right.
The glitching.
Yeah, the glitching was bad.
The glitching.
That was really bad. Yeah.
The gameplay.
It was really it was plagued obviously with a lot of different problems from the get-go because of the whole Ukes situation.
Yeah.
So for those that don't know, obviously Ukes, I think it was, what is it, like a 20-year relationship?
It was around that, yeah.
It's something like that, and I think it was what's the is it Visual Concepts? I think they left Ukes, if I've got that right.
I think so.
And it was like midway through the game. So you think with the 2K series, even before under THQ for like the SmackDown series and SmackDown versus Raw, it was a lot of the stuff was recycled.
Near enough. They
hadn't built like a new engine for anything. Not like now we're going to be seeing with 2K22, and as the sort of early footage suggests, even though it's going to be out. Well, I was recording like in a couple of months' time.
March 22nd, I think I said.
March 22nd. So, yeah, I mean, literally just under 2 months away. So, it's not fully their fault, but then I think people were clamouring for them to take a break for a while before this.
Yeah, because most sports games, they seem to come out every year and nothing really changes, nothing really
changes, but when you see something like this where it takes such a massive step backwards, that's a bit of an alarm bell.
Yeah.
And this was a huge step backwards, especially from 2019, which we're not covering in today's episode, but 2019 I think was more widely regarded as a sort of a more well-balanced game. Gameplay was good and an improvement on the previous year.
Showcase was good with Dan Bryan.
Showcase was decent. The showcase here was the 4 Horsewomen, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was basically from NXT till
right
Mania 35.
I think the showcase was good.
Yeah, that's when I did get more of my glitches. Like I had Charlotte halfway through the ring.
Yeah, I had ones where you'd be launched into the turnbuckle, and then when you'd hit the turnbuckle, I can't remember who I was playing. It was like a tag match, but you'd be launched into the turnbuckle, and he just shot up into the air like a rocket, and it was fantastic, but also really bad. There is no denying this has to go into delete him.
Oh, definitely.
It has to go in there.
It's reception on Metacritic. PC got 43 out of 100. So did the PS4. Xbox One, which you have, 45.
I don't know if there was there any reports of there being like more glitches for one console than the other.
I thought it was the didn't they do it on Steam? And didn't they do it on hang on, it was
I can't remember what it would have been on Steam, but I don't really know many people that play wrestling games on PC, in all honesty.
No, I don't remember it being released on PC, to be honest, but obviously it was. So
well, the overall Google rating is 71% liked this game. I mean, that's quite high.
That's very high.
I think that it definitely had its supporters, this game, and that's, you could probably only imagine that was from people that didn't really experience any issues with it.
I guess.
But that's really difficult to kind of imagine, because I'll be honest, I didn't experience like as many, but then I bought this like a lot late, like way after it came out, way after. I didn't pre-order it because I'm not a goon.
He was never in them.
No, when's Goon coming in? They'll need him this year because they've got no one left. But I think there's nowhere else for that to go, really. I mean, you could maybe justify putting it in Word, but
I'd delete him.
Yeah, I think the fact that we've now had to wait 2 years from this game. This was released in 2000.
Two and a half, really.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, what was it? This was the fall of 2019. So
it was in. Let me get it up. October 22nd, 2019.
Yeah. So we only had Battlegrounds after this for a console port, and then 2K22 is going to be the next one, like official. Well, Battlegrounds is official, but for the more sort of simulated sport style that
Definitely.
2K is known for. This, it's a big break. Yeah, I just think there was too much wrong with it, and the implications that it had after its release. It deserves to go and delete him.
Definitely. Although one of the best things on the game was having The Rock as president in like 20. What was the year? I think it was like 2029 or something like that.
2029.
Yeah,
I don't remember that.
In the
Is that My Career?
My Career, yeah.
I never finished My Career. I didn't really find it that interesting. 2019, 2K19, I should say. I quite enjoyed that career mode, but this one just didn't really captivate me.
I did, because it did things that I've wanted in wrestling, like they had there was a beatdown at the Hall of Fame, which I've kind of also in a weird way I've kind of wanted in wrestling Hall of Fame. But
the concepts of it were probably quite good. It's just the execution of it.
Yeah.
And for me, even the graphics, because the graphics was another big thing. It took such a huge step backwards from even 2K19 that it really just let it down. It really let it down. And it's not all... I don't think you can point the finger of blame in one particular direction. There's just a lot of pieces at play that really sort of bogged this one down. But, when you're spending like, what, 50, 60 pounds... I don't know if the translation's the same for over in the States, but if you're paying like 60, 70, maybe even $80 more than that if you're buying the Dulux edition, then realistically, that's a lot of money to pay for something that's broken. But that's also kind of the way games are now, isn't it?
Funny how you say broken when we got this game and delete him.
That's why it deserves to be there. So you guys could be the judge of that, but I suppose the same as anything. Anything you disagree with, obviously do leave a comment down below, because same as any sort of list, these are subjective, so please don't shout at us. Ashley, you can shout at Ash, but don't shout at me, because I'll probably cry. So
nothing else to say.
No, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
that's the end of the episode. Right. What's coming up next then? It's a good start, that, isn't it?
Yeah, we're doing MicroLeague Wrestling, which is officially the first ever WWE WWF game released. It was released in 1987.
1987, the first licensed WWF game.
Yeah.
And you wouldn't necessarily tell that looking at the front cover.
The front cover is amazing. It's just Hogan's head and top of his chest. And then on like a weird...
Just a pink Thanos arm.
Yeah.
Every time I look at the cover, it looks like he's playing ping pong. Just a quick glance, it's like, oh, Hogan's a ping pong champion.
It looks like the front cover looks like it's a Hogan on a plate.
Hogan on a plate.
You know those paper plates you get for parties.
Yeah. His head looks a bit like that as well.
Yeah.
Like the spaghetti just hanging off the sides.
And that's a very generous head of hair they got on him.
That's a very... Well, this is 1987.
Yeah.
So
this was on Amiga, Atari ST, and then later would be on Commodore 64.
the Commodore 64, I think, was that probably the most popular? I mean, it would have been here. Disclaimer for this one, I've never played it.
No, I never played it.
So the way that we're going to have to kind of go through these ones, because we are going to be doing the tier list for every WWE game ever made, or at least all the ones that we could find.
Yeah.
So it stands to reason with like a smaller kind of group of us that we wouldn't have played every game.
No.
We just wouldn't have done. You'd be surprised at some of the ones we have played, and maybe even some of the ones we've enjoyed.
Yeah.
But not every single one. Is this one of the ones that you'd probably want to go and play?
Well, yeah, because it's the first one they did. So you want to know what the originals were like. I mean, obviously, if it's going to be different with modern eyes than it would have been back in the day.
That's a big thing, though, isn't it? Because there's a lot of games, and we will come to some later on in the series, but there's a lot of games that are so widely renowned as or at least that they're held in such high regards.
Yeah.
You know, I won't go through them all now, but, you know, wrestling fans, you're going to know which ones. But depending on when you played them, you're going to have a different sort of take on it.
Yeah. For example, it's easier nowadays, I'd say, to have like a PS4, PS5 and Xbox One. But it was hard back in the day to have like an N64 and PlayStation together. So some people would have played No Mercy. Some people would have played SmackDown, but not many people would play them both at the same time.
Well, it also depends as well, because what's going to probably come up quite a few times in this list is that there are certain games that have been released but ported to different consoles, but the game that was released is very different across those consoles and platforms that it was released on, like massively. And that's not just graphical differences, but that'll be even in the gameplay and everything else. So this one, though, for the time that it came out on, the technology is not anywhere near it is now. So it's pretty much kind of what you'd expect in a weird way. But I'm looking at some of the screenshots for it now, which we'll pull up on screen for the video. But if we take a look at this, it's very much like it's just photos, isn't it, really?
Yeah, it says it's...
I think you just sort of like click through. Looks like you just sort of click through where, like, to punch, kick. Yeah. You click on the one that you want to do for it.
It does say that face wrestlers can have attempt a special move, which they can rally the crowd to get momentum and recover some of the damage. And heel wrestlers can attempt some special cheating tactics, but you do risk the threat of being DQ'd.
Okay. Well, tricky. There were some expansions, I think, for this, wasn't there? We talked about it a bit before we come on, but...
Yeah. So you had...
So the expansions these were just discs that they brought out
with
like new
discs.
matches.
Yeah, they had Randy Savage versus Honky Tonk Man, Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus King Harley Race, and the second disc had Hogan versus $1 Million Man, and Jake Roberts versus Ravishing Rick Rude. Amiga also had one in '89 featuring Hogan versus Savage from a later match, not from '87.
As an exclusive?
Yeah.
Okay. Technology's come a long way.
Yeah.
We haven't played the game, so we'd have to base our placement here on public opinion. But again, because of... We'd said previously about depending on when you've played something, if you played it, at the time it's come out, it really does... It can change. Like, you play it later on.
Yeah.
And it might not be the same sort of thing. So even looking at reviews wouldn't have been going up for this as far back as that. Not many, at least, anyway.
No, I don't think so.
Even the reviews that go up for it. Is it a game that I knew before really looking into this? Not so much. I just knew that it was the first one made. Didn't know much about it.
Yeah, about the same for me.
If we look at the... we'll see what sort of reviews are out there for it.
If there's any that are nowadays reviews or the day reviews from back in the day.
Yeah, because it also just it depends as well on what console you played on. Like Commodore 64 seems like it may have been the most popular. For those out there that have a lot more knowledge about this game than we do, which isn't going to be difficult, but for those that do, again, please do shed some more light on it. But even here, look, I mean, I'm struggling to sort of find it where it's not basically a blog post or just on a website somewhere. So there's no real...
Well...
A MicroLeague Wrestling 2, apparently. I don't know how legit that is. For the time, based on this...
I'd say glass ceiling personally, because we don't know. And it could have broken the glass ceiling.
But would it live up now, though? Like, would it live up now? Because... if you was to remake this game now and just make it look a bit nicer, but you kept the actual gameplay, the way you actually play the game, the same, would it be there? Like, is that something realistic you'd want to play? It may pass as a mobile game.
It could be.
But would you pay money to have that on a console now? Or even on something like Steam, Stadia, you know... anything aside from mobile or tablet.
It kind of reminds me of, you know, those kind of like a Candy Crush type ones where if you do a certain tier, like a certain thing together, you get a move.
I'd put it in what? What? I'd put it in what? What?
Fair enough.
Do you think?
Yeah. Well, I don't really put a glass in because it was the first one.
I feel though the game, the dangerous line that we'll tread will be if for all the ones that we haven't played and we don't know an awful lot about, to play it safe, we always put them in glass ceiling. I feel like we're going to be putting them in there with things that, like, they're not on the same level. And realistically, although there's going to be kind of like a mini ranking system within each tier, I don't know. I'm just in my head. I'm thinking like there's other games that I think easily going to go to glass ceiling. I don't know if I'd put them on the same pedestal as MicroLeague Wrestling. So for that reason, I go what? But you know what, Ash? You do you. I'm happy with either. I think.
If it was possible, could put it in the middle between...
we put it in the middle.
In the middle of glass ceiling and what?
Glass ceiling. What?
Glass
So what are we saying then? Natasha, you got your work cut out for you.
No, don't do that.
Yeah, that's where it goes.
I think that's fair.
I do, probably, but it's kind of breaks the rules.
Yeah, we have to have him. I go for what?
All right. Turn down for what? All right, then. Well, we got there. We got another oldie now.
Yeah.
Another oldie.
So WWF Superstars, which was an arcade game.
Yeah, so this is the WWF Superstars, not the Game Boy one, but we do have that one coming up.
Yeah.
This one was, what was the year this was released? 89?
89, but it was mainly in Japan. It was released in North America and Japan, but it was a Japanese maker.
Is this that, what are they called? Let's bring it up.
It's
they made a few.
Technos Japan.
Yeah, there was a few. I think a lot of them were them back in the day. I don't know if it was pretty much before Acclaim took over, or what. There's probably some more in the middle.
Well, there was LGN and Rare.
LGN, yeah. Superstars. So this is another one. Again, I think product of the time is that the roster's not very big.
No. Let's see. It says playable wrestlers are Hogan, Macho Man, Ultimate Warrior, Big Boss Man, Hacksaw Jim Duggan, and Honky Tonk Man.
Yeah. Now this one is a bit more of like this is definitely what you'd expect from those kind of games where it's that sort of top-down arcade type feel.
Yeah.
The lack of depth in the roster Again, don't know if that was necessarily an issue as much back then, but now you would not get away with having, what was it, 5 people, 6 people?
6 people.
6 people. I don't know. I think that might hurt it a bit. Is Miss Elizabeth in this game? Can we find out?
I think she's the manager.
Because she is on the front cover.
It does say there, also cutscenes featuring $1 Million Man, Andre the Giant and Virgil, Mean Gene and Miss Elizabeth make appearances as well.
Okay, so would that be as in like cut from like video?
That's what it sounds
It'd have to be,
like,
wouldn't it? You wouldn't have a
when you
cutscene
think cutscenes nowadays.
So was this originally a arcade game?
I believe so.
So this wasn't ported to a home console.
No, it was never. It
initially.
was not like WrestleMania arcade game would be.
No, well, but that was so again. That's coming up, but that was ported to that was an
arcade game that was ported onto like PlayStation. And
but is that not what this was? Or
no, it just says it was an arcade system. Platforms arcade. So it's just an arcade game.
Okay. I mean, I think a lot of these ones from Technos, I think a lot of them are samey. There's obviously variations and there's differences, but for the ones that I have played, they've got a similar sort of vibe to them. But I mean, I haven't played these ones. I have played this, but it was a long time ago. I never owned it. So I never had that kind of hands-on experience to grow any kind of like feeling towards it or nostalgia towards it.
Right.
And the thing is, I don't know if it's an unpopular opinion, but these ones are a bit dime a dozen, really. There are some really good sort of arcadey ones, but I suppose again for the time it's good. It's not offensive. It's good, but it doesn't have the longevity for me. It's probably a collector's piece.
Oh yeah, I'm sure if you could find one, it'd be a lot of money.
It's got some good ratings. I wonder how much we're probably looking at that going for now. Shall we find out?
Yeah, have a look.
And we'll see if we can.
There was
$18.99. That's quite old.
Yeah. Apparently there are cheats.
Cheats were a thing, though.
Yeah, because
they're being out by them.
It says after 3 matches are won, players get to challenge the Megabucks of DiBiase and Andre the Giant for the final round. Most grapple moves do not work against Andre because of his immense size.
That's good. So they played on that then early on. That's something that even a lot of later games.
But you can't. You couldn't select them. However, there was a cheat to allow them to be used together or separately. The drawback being that if DiBiase or Andre gets a submission victory, the game will think they have lost. And there would be graphical errors, which will make the in-ring opponent disappear.
Okay, so I'm looking now to see how much there are arcade machines.
Wow.
For this, and it includes like the other Technos ones like WrestleFest and some of the other ones that they'd obviously come out with. WrestleFest, I think, is one that's come out the most, but that is definitely Superstars because that's the logo for it.
Yeah.
So
what prices are they looking at?
For me, that feels like a glass ceiling. I think for that one, I think you could probably still have a bit of fun playing it, but you wouldn't.
Okay.
I don't remember not enjoying it.
Yeah, you said you play it, so I'll take your word for it.
I don't remember not enjoying it, but I also don't remember what I did last week.
Okay.
So that is an issue. But yeah, looking at that, would you rather play Superstars over MicroLeague?
Well, yeah, because it's an arcade game, so it's proper. It feels like it's a proper wrestling game.
Yeah. And I'd play them both over 2K20.
It did say that. It does say here that it was the third most successful arcade in 1989 in November. In North America, it was the top grossing software conversion kit on the Replay arcade chart in January 1990. So it did, and wrestling was at its peak then with Hogan.
For the time, it was good. And arcade's kind of like at its peak at this point as well.
Definitely.
So, And I'd play it again, but I probably wouldn't pay for a whole arcade machine. Glass ceiling's good enough.
Yeah, I'll accept that.
Nice. What we got next?
WWF Superstars.
WWF Superstars.
But this is on Game Boy.
Yes.
It was released in 1991.
Yeah, so 2 years after, went for the same name, although this is it's a different publisher, isn't it? This is LJN.
Developed by Rare and published by LGN.
LJN. So I have seen the footage of this one, but I've not played it. It doesn't particularly look that interesting. It looks, again, it's original Game Boy as well.
Yeah.
So
I didn't have this one, but I had the second one.
Okay.
So I've not played it myself, but it did come out a year later. You've got, let's see, you have Hogan, Randy Savage, Ultimate Warrior, $1 Million Man, and Mr. Perfect.
So again, limited roster.
Yeah.
For games at the time, that's a very standard thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I would play this one over the 1989 Superstars. So I don't know if I put it in glass ceiling, but then was it technically a bad game?
Well, the only review on the Wikipedia page is from
Wikipedia.
This is how I get my information.
That's great.
Nintendo Power reviewed it in April 1991, and it was rated 2.9 out of 5. So
not brilliant, but that's almost at the halfway point. I mean, looking at it, yeah, it's Game Boy. I don't know if I would probably put this in the middle, if I'm honest.
Well, before every match, a wrestler would cut a promo, and Vince McMahon would make comments on the action. The wrestler had two comments. One was a generic taunt, and one was specific to that opponent.
So they put some interesting stuff in there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to go glass ceiling, we can go glass ceiling, but for me, that would go behind the other Superstars game. What do you reckon?
I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Obviously, like we said, we haven't played the game.
Oh, you're going to get fired, you are. That's in the wrong tier. B+ player. Yeah, no, definitely not.
No, it's definitely...
yeah, I think... I mean, I would put it sort of below Superstars, so if it's going to go glass ceiling.
Yeah. Yeah, there's not a lot to it, really. But obviously back in 1991, and on Game Boy, you couldn't really get that much.
No, there isn't. No, exactly. I mean, Game Boy... very limited in its capabilities,
yeah.
but I don't know. I mean, it's had a bit of a mixture. Some critic reviews. Nintendo Power Magazine, it was 2.9 out of 5,
which I said.
But some of the other ones at the time, these are obsolete now. But Games X gave it 4 stars. That was in May of 1991. Player One was the latest review. They gave that 55 out of 100, so that's more in line with the Nintendo magazine one. Yeah, I'd say so. Glass ceiling.
Yeah. Well, and we'll see if Superstars 2 goes higher or lower.
We will in another episode.
Yeah.
This is not today. Right. From one Game Boy to another then. This is I think this is 2001 this came out, wasn't it?
November 16th. 2001.
WWF Road to WrestleMania for the Game Boy Advance, for the GBA. So there was 2 Road to WrestleMania games in the series. The other one was Road to WrestleMania 18.
Yes.
So that came out...
the year later.
A year later, or it was later that year. No, because it was already late in the year.
Because this would be for Mania 17, really.
I remember when this came out, I was really excited to play this. But I don't remember... much of it, so I don't think it's going to have been that good.
Well,
but this is peak, like when you're young and you're really looking forward to like anything you can get your hands on wrestling wise.
Shall I give you the name of the people that's in the game?
Yeah, I'm going to imagine this has got a bit more of a bigger roster than
Right,
what we've
you've
seen
got
before.
Billy Gunn, Bradshaw, Bubba Ray, Chris Benoit, Chris Jericho, Christian, Devon, Eddie Guerrero, Edge, Farouk, Hardcore Holly, Jeff Hardy, Kane, Kurt Angle, Matt Hardy, Raven, Rikishi, Stone Cold, Taz, The Rock, Triple H, Undertaker, William Regal, and X-Pac.
Wow. So, it's a lot more than the others.
But
That's a pretty full roster.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing. The game matches you could do were Expedition, Gauntlet, there was a season mode, a King of the Ring, a Royal Rumble, Iron Man, and what pay-per-view. The problem is you couldn't do a 30-man Rumble because there was only 24 wrestlers in it.
Only 24, yeah. But then you wouldn't have been able to have done that, I don't think, the same way. Was there any Game Boy games where...
Well, this is Game Boy Advance.
Yeah, exactly. But was there any way you could have everybody enter into the Rumble at once?
I don't think so, because Game Boy didn't have that much space.
That's what I mean. So you're quite limited anyway. That's, to be fair, that's pretty good, I think, for a roster and for that time. Yeah. You got some big names in there. You had popular names.
Yeah, I don't think Eddie Guerrero was in the company at the time when it got released, but yeah.
From where they would have been making the game, though, isn't it?
Yeah, because like I said, it would have been the end of Invasion around that time. So, I
mean, for that alone, I think it's a good roster for something that's such on a portable gaming device, and for something like the Game Boy Advance, which, well, even that compared to the original Game Boy, there's a hell of a jump.
Yeah.
In terms of what you can and can't do, but
it has got mixed reviews on Metacritic. Has 62 out of 100. CVG gave it 6 out of 10. GameSpot 7.8 out of 10. GameZone 8 out of 10. But then you have IGN 3 and Nintendo Power 3.2 out of 5. So Nintendo Power liked that more than they did Superstars, but 10 years later. So might not be the same people.
Yeah, but you got different arenas. You can have SmackDown. I think Raw is War. I think you can get a Rumble arena on there as well. I don't know if there was any other ones on there.
Well,
I imagine there probably was. Mania, yeah.
Well, that's the goal, isn't it? To get to Mania.
Yeah, that would be a bit upsetting if it wasn't.
I wonder how long the Iron Man matches last.
Did the Game Boy Advance last for an hour? Battery? I think it did, didn't it?
Well, if you can do a Rumble, yeah.
Like I said, I don't remember much of it. I don't remember disliking it. I just don't remember much of it. So it's whether or not we'd say, is it a good game or is it... Again, I mean, I'm leaning towards Glass Ceiling again for this one. But the top end of Glass Ceiling.
Why, so above the first Superstars?
Yeah, I'd rate it higher than the first Superstars, the 1989 one, but I just don't know if I'd put it into B+ player.
Well, once again, a game that I've never played, and you have, so it's your choice, really.
You know what that means? It's time to play the game.
Which one are you saying then?
I don't know. I'll probably. I mean, I'm going to say Glass Ceiling. Put it at the top of Glass Ceiling. That's the bottom.
You're going to have to swap them around.
Yeah, you got your work cut out for you, folks. We'd like to apologise for Natasha's behaviour. It's.
You didn't say it was going in order.
Yeah, I think that's about right.
Yeah, I'll go for that.
Yeah, that's about right. Let us know what you think. I don't imagine you're probably going to... There's a big sort of avid following of Road to WrestleMania 2001 now. But...
You never know.
You never know. You never know. If you are out there, then let us know if you think that that's a fair rating. Oh, yes.
Finally, we're getting to a game I've played. Well, apart from 2K20, of course.
This...
The original SmackDown.
This is, I think, there's nostalgia for this one. There's just a lot of nostalgia, and this is like the big outing for THQ.
Yes.
This is like the beginning of an era. So the SmackDown era as we knew it kicked off really with this game, and I still enjoy playing it now. I know I don't really go to it a lot, but I do still enjoy playing it. When I do play it, I always have a good time.
Yeah.
So you could create a pay-per-view.
Yeah, if you created a wrestler, you had in the pre-season instead of you could have making the alliances with wrestlers and starting feuds. Which is something I don't think they've ever done again that I can think of.
There might be something similar, but yeah, this was there was just so much, like, there was a lot that was new into this game. All the backstage stuff was good, and again, like, we got to expand on it, but even that, like, we don't get as good as some of what was in here in today's games, and that's crazy to think, but you know, that's, I mean, considering this came out in 2000.
Yeah, it was released in March 2000 for North America, April 14th for Europe, and August the 3rd in Japan. So yeah.
Well, the thing is, though, I suppose this is going to be one of those. The nostalgia's there, but you I don't know. You kind of have to move that along a tiny bit to kind of be a bit more objective with it, even though it's a subjective list. But is it best in the world? Because I love it, but saying that, I don't think it would be best.
I think personally, B plus player.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I think that's a fair.
And once again, looking at the reception, it was really well received. I don't see any bad stuff. But this was just the beginning.
This was the beginning, but then again, like, I think that's a really good thing.
Yeah.
You know, it started off really well. And then now we're going to come to the next on the list, which was released really, it was just a few months later. It was the same year.
Yeah, SmackDown 2 got released November 20th in North America, December 1st, 2000 in Europe, and January 25th, 2001 in Japan. So it was, 6 months?
6 months. So they basically took, again, everything that was really good about SmackDown 1, and they genuinely improved on it and offered more. They made the pay-per-view creation a bit more diverse, but I suppose, like, in terms of like what you could do with it,
yeah,
there was more you could do.
Obviously, your matches would be the highest rated, but then you had to beat the hardcore title match.
Yeah,
which will always get the best rating because 24/7 title at the time.
I do also think that, again, this is peak, like, couch co-op, before couch co-op had that coin termed. That term coined, I should say. Can't even speak. But this is a really fun game to play. Same as the other one, but again, this one just stands out to me more. But this was a really fun one to play, not just single player, but with your friends. Backstage areas improved on.
Yeah.
Story was good for the time.
Yeah, especially when you had your match against a created wrestler.
Yeah. I mean, the created wrestler is, you can look back on those now and laugh because they are nowhere near as good as what you can do today. But
yeah.
Today you can do you can put photos of your face on and all sorts. So.
Yeah, one thing that I don't think they've done ever since is they've done a creator taunt ever since, have they?
Creator taunt. Yeah, there's been, creator taunt was, I think, in the SmackDown versus Raw series towards the end, when you could do, like, you created like a story and all that sort of stuff. There was definitely a creator taunt because you could. I'm sure there was creator taunt. I might be thinking of creator finisher.
There was I think it was like Here Comes the Pain or SmackDown versus Shut Your Mouth, where you could do your own run.
Maybe,
but
again, you're gonna have to let us know because I don't know. I think I might have confused it. It might be creator finisher.
Probably.
But I just remember that, you know, you just make them do loads of weird movements, and it
I can always kind
of looks like when you're dancing in the club.
One of my favourite things, and I used to do it for every character I made when I was a kid, was for for an entrance, you have your character running and you don't know what it's from, and it's from a bomb. And a bomb, you sit on a bomb.
What was that?
You can create an entrance and it had a bomb chasing you. That was a legit entrance.
What, in here?
Yeah, on SmackDown 2.
I don't remember that. I actually don't remember that at all.
Yeah.
I didn't really spend an awful lot of time on Create Wrestler, evidently, so I'll have to check that out. Was that an unlockable or is that there from the get-go?
It might be unlockable, but I know it's on there.
Well, times have changed.
And you know how we talked about how it was a short cycle from SmackDown 1 to 2. Undertaker's character changed so much. All they did was had the same head, but had the Underbiker character.
Yeah, so because this is where he has the blue top and the jeans.
And they couldn't use American Badass.
No. I like this game. I like this a lot.
Yeah.
I still think...
And
is it best in the world?
It's best in the world.
Yeah.
And also it sold 3.2 million units.
Wow. And there's so many in circulation that you can get from like pre-owned, stores, wherever you go to pick up all that sort of stuff. Like, I don't know if it's still worth a lot of money because there's so many of them.
Mm. Whereas
some now, they're hard to get hold of. And obviously the harder it is to get your hands on it, of course, the more money it's going to cost for you to pick it up. But, luckily I still have it. So
yeah, I play it regular now.
Regularly.
Because I just love it.
Well, we've had a good couple of years to play other things, so just makes you appreciate what you had.
Oh, too much.
No, I'd say so. I think that's good.
Also, best in the world because you can play as Michael Cole.
Yeah, and who doesn't like? Who doesn't want that?
Anyone? No. Okay.
Can I have your attention, please? So, what's next? From the anonymous Raw general manager. Oh,
yeah, Legends of WrestleMania.
This sucked. Honestly, this was awful. This was rubbish. When did this come out? Was it
2009?
9.
It's around the same time as when SmackDown versus Raw 2009. Because you could have both rosters on.
Oh yeah, okay. So that all right. So on the plus side of things, looking at the pros, this is another one of those where I think it tried doing some different things.
Yes.
You never fault anybody for trying something new, and again, it wasn't like a 2K20 situation where it was part of a long-standing series and then it went backwards. Like this was a standalone. They tried new things with it. Yeah. I remember the buttons. Obviously, they changed some of the button combinations. Yeah. I just thought it was clunky. It was sluggish. I sold it after a couple of months, and I've never bought it back, and I've never had the urge to want to play it ever again.
I just bought it because I've played basically all that I could play for like PS3 or whatever, but I never played it before, and yeah, it's just not that great.
It's not.
But one thing I'll give it credit for, it's one of the few WWE games where you can have thumbtacks.
I do remember the thumbtacks, but I think...
But the animation of when you go through it is a bit poor.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, it's all well and good doing something new for the first time. Again, I suppose the thought was there. They wanted to, nice idea, but in execution... it was pretty poor.
Yeah.
It's not a memorable game in the good sense. But there's no way that breaches the top tiers for me.
No.
But I don't know if it's too harsh to say delete him. But I'm kind of I'm leaning towards delete him. Delete.
Well, you can do it. Once again, with the reception, it got average reviews. So Metacritic for the PS3 is 70, and for Xbox 360, 71. Yep. So maybe somehow some way one game on one console a little bit different.
Yeah, that could be one of those. Did this come out for the Wii?
I don't think it did.
Because sometimes you find that the Wii port tended to have better ratings than the others.
It was on PS3, Xbox 360, and iOS.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. It came out for. I don't remember
that at all. But
I remember reading that a long time ago. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. I think the other thing for me, considering this was Legends of WrestleMania, like Legends of WrestleMania, like Summer Rae. So for the actual roster, the legends that you had in there, so you had Yokozuna, awesome. Regal probably wasn't classified as a legend at this time, but of course he's a legend.
He's a legend to us.
Yeah, he will never not be a legend. Undertaker, I think we're looking at the 90 sort of 4-5 Taker, maybe. Could be wrong there, but you also get like that current Undertaker for the time in 2009. Ultimate Warrior, Triple H, but not old Triple H. The Rock, Iron Sheik. We do love Iron Sheik.
Even though he only had like 2 matches at Mania.
Yeah. But again, I suppose Legends of WrestleMania, but a legend nonetheless. Ted DiBiase, Taz was in there. Snitsky, Stone Cold, Shawn Michaels, again, 2 versions of him. Sergeant Slaughter, Rick Rude, Roddy Piper, Ric Flair, an old and current. Paul Bearer as a manager. Nikolai Volkov was in there, which is nice because he doesn't get a lot of
no, he's only he was in what? Here Comes the Pain as well.
He was in Here Comes the Pain, yeah, same as Sheik. Is that the only 2 they've been in? Legends of WrestleMania and Here Comes the Pain?
I think so. I can't think they've been on that many.
Is Hillbilly Jim in here? Because he's in Here Comes the Pain. And nothing else. No, I don't know. Hillbilly Jim's not here.
No. Jake the Snake.
Jimmy Snooker, Kamala, Junkyard Dog, King Kong Bundy.
Hang on, did Kamala have a match at Mania? Apart from Mania 17 Battle Royal? I don't honestly remember. I don't remember. Who was it? Kamala. I don't remember Mania, but it probably was.
Maybe. Jim Duggan, Jim Neidhart, some of the usuals. Dusty, Greg Valentine, Brutus, British Bulldog, Big John Studd. Big John Studd deserves to be there, 100%.
Yeah.
And obviously Andre, Animal and Hawk, Arn Anderson.
Cool.
Bam Bam and Boss Man. But then, yeah, the rest of it is really just like the roster from that time, like Festus and Jesse.
Yeah.
Obviously Hogan's in this as well. Oh, no, sorry, wrong. I've just seen him up here, Hunter Hearst Helmsley. So that character was in it, but Hunter Hearst Helmsley, a legend of WrestleMania?
Well, who's he married to again?
Well, true. Yeah.
That dripping, or was it just my imagination?
It is. Yeah, roster aside, it wasn't really that different to 2009.
Well, can I just say there were people that weren't from 2009, the 2009 SmackDown vs. Raw that got taken away. There were Big Daddy V, Chuck Palumbo, Elijah Burke, Lance Cade, Paul London, Trevor Murdoch, The Masked Man, and Tony.
The Masked Man.
Yeah.
Yeah, give the story of that. I mean, I want to put it in delete him.
Yeah, I'll agree with that because played it for a bit and just didn't like it at all. And probably one of those games I played like once or twice and just didn't like it at all.
No, never ever grew on me. Never had a chance to grow on me. But yeah, I think that's if anyone out there really enjoys this game, then give us what for. But it was never for me.
No,
I think that's fair. Next then. Right. I've got zero experience with this one at all.
Neither have I, but I played a game similar to it. This is WrestleMania, the arcade game, which was... Let's see, it was on arcade, obviously.
Yeah, so it's the actual arcade... Well, again, arcade machine, and then ported to Genesis.
Genesis, 32X, SNES, PlayStation, Saturn, MS-DOS.
This is the Acclaim series that we're into now. So Acclaim's the publisher for this one?
Yeah, and Midway.
And Midway! God.
This was released in 1995.
Yeah, 95. I mean, this one seems to have gone over quite well. You can have up to 2 players. Again, that's the standard for an arcade game. Roster. What are we looking at for the roster? Because I imagine, again, this isn't going to be a bloated one.
You had 8 wrestlers. You had Bret Hart,
Okay.
Undertaker, Shawn Michaels, Razor Ramon, Bam Bigelow, Yokozuna, Doink the Clown, and Lex Luger.
I love that Doink just shows up randomly.
Yeah,
in certain
you don't
areas.
have to. You didn't have to champion at the time of Diesel.
Yeah. Why Doink over Diesel? Is there a reason for that?
Ask Kevin Nash; she will tell you.
We'll get him on the blower later. We'll ask Kevin Nash why he wasn't in the WrestleMania arcade game. Yeah, there's some. I mean, this has got some pretty good reviews again for its time, because some of these reviews are from critics that would not have been around when this came out in '95. So
Yeah.
I don't know realistically where to probably put this one, but this feels like it is probably one of those where you play it safe and put it in glass ceiling.
More than likely, but there are a lot of good. There's a lot of good reviews on it. It was the 3rd most popular arcade at the time.
Wow.
And this
What,
is not
in
even-
terms of like for its genre, or
Well, 95, I would say.
because this would have fell under fighting games.
Yeah. To say that was the 3rd most popular when WWE at the time in 1995, wasn't that his most popular? Really, it was just about to. It was getting back up. But to say, yeah,
What, WWF, the actual company's popularity?
because
I mean, 95 wasn't really a brilliant year for
not
it
really
at all. Really,
one of the worst WrestleManias.
Yeah. Do you think that the reason Diesel probably isn't in this is based on when did this come out? What month?
November 95.
Oh, I don't know. Would it have been maybe necessarily when they started making the game? If he might have still been Sean's bodyguard.
No, he would have been champion.
He won the title at Mania that year, wasn't it?
No, he won it in 94.
Oh, in '94, yeah, of course.
After the Survivor Series. So, the PlayStation version came out in October, so he would have been champion. But the rest says November. Around the time he did lose the title.
Well, I'm going to have a look here. Some chatter about it. So, because I've just seen something here about Adam Bomb.
Yeah, I just seen something about Adam Bomb.
And I think these might have been... There's a lot of talk about this. So was he originally supposed to be an unlockable character on the arcade machine?
Well, it
So
says...
they dropped it.
It says, shortly after the game was released, Midway executive Roger Sharp claimed that Adam Bomb appears in the game. Many years later, developer Sal DeVita claimed that Adam Bomb was a hidden character, but also states that the character in the game was not fully completed. So
he didn't make the cut.
they make it.
So Doink and Luger make it in place of Adam Bomb and Diesel due to... I think it is because they started development for this game in early 1994. So if Diesel didn't win the title until Survivor Series, which is what, November, it's going to be around Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
then
Also,
that would make sense, technically, that he wouldn't have been like one of your big names to go in. So
by the time this game was released, Lex Luger was in WCW.
yeah, that's kind of awkward. I mean, look, again, not played it, but based on the reviews for it, I think it's kind of got to go in there. But for something like Superstars, which I had a tiny bit of experience with, would it go above Superstars?
Which Superstars?
Both. I think it's going to be. I think you've definitely got to put it higher than Superstars on the Game Boy. The next question is: does it go higher than Superstars? The 1989.
I would put it in the middle.
Do you rate Superstars over that? This has got a lot more.
Honestly, even though I've never played it myself, and I've actually looked it up for like CX, and like it does cost a lot of money this for the PlayStation version, but I've heard a lot of good stuff about it though, but I haven't played it myself, so I can't give my proper opinion.
Yeah, it is tricky. We do appreciate and understand it's hard to voice one's opinion on something that you don't have experience with. But here we are doing it anyway. I just think it's... I don't know. Looking at it, it looks better than Superstars to me. It just looks better.
Okay.
It looks
that's
better.
Fine. That's fine.
Okay.
And it's more known for being like a bloodless Mortal Kombat.
Well, we're going to have something similar to that coming up later on. But
That's going to be a good one. When we get to it, it's going to be a good one.
It's going to be a good one. Okay. Right, last but not least
Yes.
for this episode, our first mobile game.
Mobile exclusive, because we did talk about
Exclusive, yeah.
Legends of WrestleMania that was on iOS.
So, SuperCard is a beast now. I think this was first released in 2014.
Yeah, August 2014.
Yeah, I downloaded this when it first came out, and I mean, for those that are players of SuperCard now, and this has a huge community.
Oh yeah,
it is big, but when I first played it, I mean, it was common, uncommon, rare.
Yeah.
I think it was just those three when it first came out, because
I can do all the tiers if you want.
But
it's a long list.
So it is a long list, yeah.
And most of them are like Series 1 to 2, and we're on Series 8 now.
So yeah, broken up into the series. But it's the SuperCard, the way SuperCard works, for those that might not be familiar with it, is it is a card game per se. It's basically top trumps, really.
Basically, yeah. All you got to do is you get a wrestler and you have to level his card or her card to the highest you can.
You pro them by obviously having two of the same card and
you get
maxing out all of the stats for each one, and you kind of go head to head in these different battles.
Yeah, and you get level 1, 2, and 3. So
yeah.
If you get the same card 3 times, and you get their levels up to the top.
It's a really fun game. It does suffer a little bit though for me on the basis that, like everything now, you kind of, some of it is a bit pay to win.
Yeah.
Unless you're already at these kind of higher tiers, and I think that the most difficult part of playing SuperCard for me is that I want to play. You're at a point in life where, like, I enjoy gaming, but you just don't always have the time to really sit there and have to kind of adhere to time limits on stuff. And especially, like, the only way you can really progress through SuperCard and get like the best kind of cards out there with the best stats is really to be on teams.
Yeah.
And if you have, but the thing is, those teams have to operate within like time limits for things. Like if a team event comes up, you've got X amount of time to do it, and you need to be able to contribute, X amount to then pull these rewards. So
when it's like a Team Road for Glory, or what else is there? Like a Team Battleground. So
Team Battleground, like the most common of them all.
If you get all those people to, even like Battleground, when it's you have to get all your team to get all their cards leveled up fully, which it's not going to be easy. Because obviously, for us, we live in the UK, there might be some members who even live in America, and it's different to time. People might be working, so forth.
That can help sometimes, honestly. I think sometimes it can help if your team is diverse enough that there's people all around the world, because then you can effectively, if everybody's active, you could always be, your team is constantly chipping away. But it's tricky for that regard. It's if you just want to pick it up and play it is free to play. So again, that is always going to be a plus.
Yeah.
But there is an element of pay to win in there. But that's no different really to most really good mobile games anyway now. So the same as a lot of other mobile games out there now. But I do think that this is a good game. Out of all the mobile games, mini spoiler, but I'd probably rate this one above most.
Yeah, I'm on it every day. So
yeah, you are. You're an avid player.
Yeah,
active. He's active.
I'm that close to being in the new tier. So
there you go. If anyone's looking for someone who is always active for their team games, you're going to be sought after, man.
I hope so.
Who's your best card?
I have got a Prode WrestleMania. No, Prode. What is it? Sorry, I can't remember what the tier is now.
Doesn't even play it, does he?
Yeah. The Prode Valhalla. Dragunov. Yeah.
Nice.
I got a few Prode, and I'm that close to proing a is it Alpha? Roman Reigns' dad.
Oh, Alpha,
yeah. I'm that close to proing him as well.
Nice.
I got a few pros, but nothing special.
Where would you put it?
Personally, best in the world.
Whoa, really?
Where would you put it?
Wow, that's a good point. I suppose in my head I was probably thinking like top of B+.
I mean,
well, but then I don't know. It's weird. It's weird ranking this like in the same.
But that's just personal for me because I'm on it every day. You have your own team though. You actually.
Yeah, but I've not been. I'm a naughty man. I've not been on it for a long time. Sorry, teammates.
I hope they're watching this.
Yeah, they don't know I am, so that's fine. But you
now.
do. Yeah, I think you could. I think you probably should have the last say on it, and you should put it where you think because you do play it a lot more. And Jay, obviously, Jay not with us today, but Jay is another one. Like he's, a big player on this, and I'm trying to think what Jay would have probably said. And I think he might agree with you.
I mean, for me personally, best in the world, but I can agree that it could be a B+ as well. Is up there? I'm
happy for it to go in best in the world, but would you put it?
Oh, SmackDown 2. SmackDown 2's number 1.
I think that's
that's
the right call.
Yeah.
I'd say I'm happy with that so far.
It's going well.
We're 10 down, and we have 60 to go. So in the next episode, we're gonna go through 10 more.
Yes.
We'll see. We'll show you which 10 that we've got. We're not really, as you can see, we're not really going in any particular order. Just want to try and mix things up a bit. Also, the longer this goes on for, we are hoping to play some of the other ones that we haven't played before. But understandably, a lot of these are hard to get hold of, as we've kind of already gone through, haven't we? But
let me say, some of these are going to be like late 80s, early 90s. So depending on game systems that we never had at the time, or probably we did have, but I haven't played them in a long time.
True that. Well, everybody, that is the tier list. You can see it below. And you will have to join us for episode 2, which will be out very soon. And we'll just, like I say, we'll see what more we can do in terms of what we can play that we haven't already. But well, we hope you've enjoyed this one. Now's the time, I suppose, where we do a nice little cut and we stand up and we wave bye.
Well, yeah. Been a lot of cuts lately.
I want to be the fairy, but that really hurt my head. We hope you enjoyed the video today. If you did,
there's a lot of ways to find this.
You've got to like, subscribe. We do obviously have the Pro Wrestling Roll-Up podcast, which we would love you to come along and listen to us talk pure rubbish every single week. So, but yeah, we really hope you enjoyed this episode today.
Rubbish wasn't the word I was thinking of, but yeah.
We're being nice for YouTube. Yeah.
Don't try this at home.
And, I suppose do what you want. See you later.
Bye.